Hello, hello, and welcome to QA with KD. Welcome back. This is our second week of interviewing different people about different topics because we're curious people. Today, I have a first grade teacher at St. Paul's, Shannon Carmona, that's joining us, and we want to welcome her. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so tell me a little bit about yourself to get it kicked off.
I'm Shannon Carmona. I've been teaching for about 18 years now in first grade, and I have a master's in early childhood education. And I am teaching at a Catholic school here in St. Petersburg, Florida, and I absolutely love it.
Nice. And she's a very good teacher. She's at my son's school, so I know that firsthand. Um, so I kind of want to kick it off as a parent and also a therapist. One of the things that I'm hearing from my own head, as well as my friends and my clients, is this really big struggle with the immediate transition into online learning. I joke, but it's a real good thing that I didn't go into education because I'm terrible at it. And I don't think I ever appreciated teachers quite the way I do now. I bet that's not the first time that you've heard this.
Well, we appreciate the appreciation, that's for sure. And it is a real struggle, Kathy Dan, because not only are the teachers, they've never been in this situation before, but the parents have never been in this situation before, and certainly their children have never been in this situation before. So how ironic that the teachers are supposed to help teach in a situation that they really are still trying to learn how to teach in.
That
So,
was one of my first questions because I'll tell you, when I asked people what they would want to know and what they would want to ask, there was a lot of frustration that I could hear from friends and from clients. So tell people a little bit about what, from your perspective as a teacher, are some of the bigger challenges that you're coming up against.
well, so first of all, the whole idea of teaching a student hasn't changed. The idea of a student needing to learn has not changed. It's just the way in which it happens certainly has changed. So even with parents trying to create a classroom for their children in their home, that would be one of the first things that could help with the child's success. And as far as just the logistics of how to work the computer, log into things, to when we have a Zoom classroom meeting with the students or with the parents, I've done that before. How do you work the microphones? Where is it? And some of the students would say, Mrs. Carmona, I can only see you. I can't see any of my friends. So clearly their priority is that they miss their friends as well. And I totally get that. So then we go over where that view is on the computer screen. And fortunately, we've had some time to, as teachers, to kind of practice with it. And that's the ultimate thing is we know we've learned something and we've mastered it as a person if you're able to teach it to someone else. So here I have been in a situation where I went to college to get a master's in how to teach in a physical classroom. I did not get any kind of training on how to teach in a classroom from my home on this little tiny black screen. And nor did the parents get a degree in how to teach their child from their home either. And so we are all learning together. I've said it from the beginning 18 years ago to the parents at parent orientation. I say, we are a team. We need to work together to help your students succeed. And now more than ever, I am calling on those parents to help me to help their child succeed. And it is a big task. And a lot of thought goes into how to plan each one of those activities for those kiddos so that they can feel that independence and know that they can do things on their own. But then also they might need their parents to help them out. That's a big ask because
Yeah.
their parents are working on what they need to work on. So it has been a struggle for everybody, as you know, and we are all trying to work through this together. And through this kind of situation, Kathy, Dan, thank you for offering this platform. Hopefully we can help other people through this.
That's great. Yes, we are all in this together. And I can tell you, I was a lot better at the reading books before bedtime when they were little, and not quite as patient at the 7th grade math right now. So tell me, what's some of the general feedback that you're giving parents about how they can structure things at home to make them feel a little bit more sane if they can, and to help their kids feel like they can achieve a little bit better?
Right. So one of the things that every home looks different, and just like every learner looks different. So what works at one home may not work best for someone else in another home. It's just a different comfort level. But one of the things that I find from the students that are very organized and have that with itness is that they have created their own place in their home where they can use a desk, whether it's a coffee table and they sit on the floor, or a TV tray for the laptop to be on, a little desk if you're fortunate to have a desk, and a chair that has the pencils, the papers, as many books as your child was able to come home with. It all needs to stay in that same place, because you never know when the teacher's going to reference something, then that student can just grab it and have it right there. And then it doesn't get lost from room to room in the house. One of the other things that I require actually is a uniform. So every student must be dressed in a uniform. Their hair must be brushed. Their teeth must be brushed, because it's an important life skill.
I don't think that message has gotten to Finn.
Oh, hair's not brushed.
There's no time outside of jammies, but it's a good idea. So keep going.
Right. So then it automatically puts them in the frame of mind that this is school. And I noticed just from this week, as you know, there was Spirit Week, and the students could dress in different themed outfits according to the day. And so in the real classroom, the physical classroom, when that happens, I automatically see a rise in misbehaviors. And this week is no different. So why not keep the structure there, keep the focus there? It worked to our advantage all school year, so why not continue it? Why reinvent the wheel? So sure enough, they're wearing their uniform tops. You know, maybe they have their pajamas on the bottom. I don't know. But we do stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Yes, that is part of our morning routine. Got to keep things as much as routine as we had it before we left school, because then that, like you said in your words, keeps us sane. At least keeps me sane. So then the other thing would be to have a sign. If your child has a room with a door, have a sign on the outside of the door that says "School in Session."
I love that.
If you are used to walking your child to school, to the door, to the main area in the morning, then don't stop that routine. Routine is good, especially for young kids. And the more routine you can keep, then the more sane they will be, you will be, and we'll be able to see that bright spot on the other side of the tunnel. And so walk your child to school, which is to their bedroom or to the den, wherever school is, and then go ahead and pick them up at the end of the day to try to keep
structure, but also probably some structure for play. Because I know when we chatted earlier, you mentioned all of the different time it takes in school to stand in line, go to the bathroom, do all those other things. So how do you talk to parents about also including that?
So the parents of the students that I teach filled out a survey to help me understand their perspective through all this. And I've been calling them on the phone as well to find out, how is everything? What can I do to help? How can you help me? How can we make this a more successful experience? And so one of the things that they were concerned about was the amount of hours that their child spends in a typical day is now severely curtailed. and they are concerned about covering what needs to be covered academically in order for their child to be prepared for the next grade. So I look to my friend who has been teaching virtual school for several years now. Now, granted, virtual school is a school where you choose to sign up and you choose to agree to those terms. But if virtual school has been around here in Florida for a long time, there's got to be some research that shows that the typical elementary school student should only be on screen with their teacher 2 days a week for 2 hours in a row. So I don't know the details about behind what the other days look like when the students are not with their teachers. Perhaps they're recording themselves in videos. Perhaps they've assigned a week-long project for the child to do at his or her own pace. So here we are at our school, at least for first grade, we are doing Monday through Thursday Zoom classes for an hour and a half. And I allow that time, that especially that last half an hour, for students to ask questions about something they're working on, for parents to come on and ask questions or express concerns. And so then we're covering exactly the foundational skills that they will need for the next grade. So if you think about how much time it takes to line up, how much time it takes to have the class bathroom break or the lunch break or the recess break or going to Spanish class, not to minimize Spanish, not to minimize PE or art. We're very fortunate to have those in our regular day. But, and those teachers are making those assignments too for our students and have deadlines. And so as far as only covering school for an hour and a half, it's a very intense hour and a half. And I assure you, teachers are very careful about what they're assigning so that it's not busy work, because time is of the essence. And I have so much confidence in the leaders of our schools, public and private, to allow time at the beginning of next year to have that review, to have that support, so that they are ready for a rigorous new school year. It's just common sense.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know that one of the things that I struggled with and I hear echoed around is expectations in general. We all want our kids to be fantastic, do their best, do well, but there's also this counterbalance right now of what our expectations should really be with our kids. And at the same time, I think there's a big fear of, will they be prepared for next year? Will they be held back? How much time should they be putting into the additional PE, music, art? Because I, with you, agree, those are all really important things. But some days when they get those assignments, it's like, uncle, I can only do so much. So what do you think about that?
So my interpretation of what a student needs for the next grade would be the 3 R's: the reading, writing, arithmetic. And I can't speak for older grades. I can't speak for specialties or, charter schools, fundamental schools, but there is a huge importance on those three things. And so what I have told my parents is, if your child, because they're challenged with sitting in one spot for a long time, I'm challenged with that. So I make sure if I need to move, then they need to move. And we work that into our schedule. But that I've been very relaxed on the other subjects. They're very important, and some students can reach those. They are able to manage the reading, writing, and math, and then move on to science for social studies. They have no problem with the music assignments and the art assignments. And that's the beauty of how each one of us is wired. We all do things in a different way. Yeah. And I can't expect everyone at home to work at the same rigor that I have in place in the classroom with the support that I have for those students that need it. So it can be challenging. As far as the expectations go, then I want those three things covered. That's my mantra. And if you can't cover more than that, then that's a huge success right there, because you're going to need those three things for the rest of your life. And
Right.
again, it's only a blip on the radar, and in the big picture, everyone's child is going to be catching up and doing fine once school begins in August.
Well, yes, we are all in the same boat. So that's reassuring. And it sounds like you're saying a lot of what you're doing with parents is collaborative work. So that's probably something that's really would be useful for most teachers and parents to try to do more of. I wonder, is there any talk around if there should still be grading, or if it should be graded on actual, test scores or effort, or is there conversation about how to do that with the teachers right now?
So from what we're hearing from our school leaders is we're not sure yet. So we're just trying to do what we're used to doing. And of course, there should be an accountability. And of course, we teachers have an obligation to understand if our students are understanding. That might be a little tricky during this time to know how much they're understanding on their own. Fortunately, we have lots of parents who are willing to help, but yet some parents are still working full time and they're not able to help. And so there's no consistency. So I go by what I'm seeing with my own eyes in the classroom when the Zoom classroom, when I give a task and then I say, okay, on the count of 3, show, and then they show it to me, and then I quickly eyeball across my 2 screens of 33 students to see how everyone's doing. And then you pick up on a lot, even though it's through a screen. And so fortunately, my students do feel like they are held accountable for what they're doing, whether there is a formal grade attached to their work or an informal grade attached to their work. I'm still collecting grades. I'm still having them do the Google Classroom comprehension questions. I'm recording things, but it's still up in the air. We don't know if it's going to be a pass-fail kind of situation. I haven't heard what the directive is from the public school teachers. So that's, yet to find out.
And I think part of it is, right, so much is out of our control right now that is sometimes somewhat in our control. And that this is really part of what's out of our control too. And so I just think it's a good reminder to people to know, like you said, this is a blip. It's happening to everybody. We're all figuring it out as we go and doing the best that we can. And I really like how much you talk about communicating and collaborating with the parents and the survey that you did so you could get feedback. That seems like it was really a valuable piece of information for you to work from.
Definitely. I mean, these kids are so precious. They're our future leaders of America, and I'm not going to fall short on giving them the best that I can give. No virus is going to keep me from doing that.
Well, thank you so much. They're all lucky to have you. And is there anything I should have asked that you think people should know about?
I can't think of a question, but I can think of one word that that people could hopefully put in the front of their mind, and that's peace. It will be okay. Have some peace in this, calm during the storm.
I like that. Well, thank you so much, Shannon.
Thank you. Thanks for doing this.
And thank you everybody for being here for the second edition of QA with KD. If you enjoyed it, press like and subscribe to my channel. All right. I hope everybody has a great day. Bye.